What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today I want to talk about Paradise Lost album Host, because I've been listening to this album now for about 3 months roughly, and it's definitely in my eyes one of the most overlooked and criminally underrated albums I have ever listened to. If you don't know who Paradise Lost are, they are an extreme metal band. I'm just keeping that as an umbrella term. From England. So they started off doing death metal originally, then they were the pioneers of death doom, so that's taking death metal and doom metal, combine it together, pretty self-explanatory. Then they went gothic metal, but it was all clean singing, there was no death growls or screams. And then they went alternative rock, and then they went synth pop. Now when this album came out in 1999, it divided fans. Some of them liked the album or could appreciate it for what it was, then the other fans absolutely loathed it and they were being a metal elitist. Metalheads can be really salty at times when it comes to their bands changing sounds and styles and that. So, but really in the last few years it's been re-released as a remastered album, and a lot of people have come up to the band and going through YouTube videos on countless reviews on this album, and even in the comments section, a lot of people's perception of this album has changed. They said actually it's not a bad album, there's some really good songs on this record. Not only are there some great songs on this album, but lyrically this album is really dark. It's one of the darkest records that they have ever written. But having said that, it juxtaposes well. So you've got the dark, depressive, melancholic lyrics along with the upbeat guitar and synth pop sound of this album as well. When you listen to it, I'd say definitely fans of Depeche Mode will like this album. Even the Paradise Lost fans themselves, they call this era Depeche Lost, because it's a very much not a rip-off, but a very heavily influenced Depeche Mode sound. Now, I've not really read that many articles where they've said that Depeche Mode was the prime influence, but you can definitely tell when you listen to this album. And not only that, the band themselves said they wanted to do something completely different at the time as well, because the whole nu metal thing was basically pop music in the late 90s, early noughties. You can argue with me as much as you want, it was pop music at the time. But they didn't want to just not do nu metal for the sake of it and, you know, like do something completely different for the sake of it. It was a natural progression from 1 second to go into a full-blown synth pop album. So there's a couple of tracks I recommend. So Much Is Lost, which is the lead single off this album, and Wreck, they're two of my personal favourites. But generally speaking, this album, there may be times there's a couple of tracks that can feel like they're fillers, but as a whole I can listen to this album all the way through. Not only that, it just showcases that extreme metal bands can write really great pop, synth pop music, which is why I wanted to talk about this album, and that's it. So if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. Also as well, comment below and let me know if you like this album. Has your perception of this album changed throughout the years, or whether you still dislike it? Because I really like to know. So it's fascinating that people review this album still, especially on YouTube, and there's certain people in the comments saying I still don't like it, and a lot of people will be like, oh no, my perception has changed. So there's that, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.